Welcome to the class, ladies. Today we're going to talk about how to become your own dream woman in your thoughts, in your mindset, in your appearance. We're going to touch on everything. This is not a one-week glow up program. This is something that you will be implementing throughout your whole life. Before I go any further, I wanted to say that this journey is not about perfection. It's about walking this journey and not stopping along the way. It's all about consistency. So we're not trying to become somebody we're not. We're just trying to become better for ourselves, in our thoughts, in our mindsets, in our habits. And this journey, of course, requires a lot of soul searching, a lot of curation on your end, and a lot of refinement to find answers within you and to find things that you actually enjoy doing. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alina and I help women step into their full feminine power. You shouldn't delay living the life of your dreams. What you do every single day forms you more than you think. You think that in some distant future you're gonna become her, but you can start being her at this very moment. You can start right after watching this video. You don't need to wait until you lose a few pounds. You don't need to wait until you get the job of your dreams. You don't need to wait for that. And that's a beautiful part of this journey because it can start exactly at this moment. To make it clear for you, I have 3 main chapters that I will have in this video. Chapter number 1 is all about the mindset. Chapter number 2 is all about your standards and your habits. And chapter number 3, the final chapter, is all about your physical beauty, your appearance, how you present into this world. So let's get right into it. Chapter number 1, mindset. Mindset is everything. I know everybody keeps saying that mindset is everything. Always start with mindset. But so many women get it wrong. They start with appearance. They start changing their look. They start going to the gym. All of these things are great. But if these changes are not at the identity level, you will never stick to that. The self-care habits, the gym habits that are not tied to your identity will never stick. You will always keep quitting. You will always keep restarting again just because inside of you, you haven't specified what is your identity, what is your dream identity. So this is exactly what we're doing right now. I want you to pull out a piece of paper, a notebook, a pen, and sit in a quiet environment. I want you to have 5 to 10 minutes to yourself. If you have a very busy household, go to a coffee shop, tune out all the noise and really focus on this one exercise. You have to decide who you are before life actually confirms it. You need to have a really strong identity in your head of who you want to become before you get any evidence in the physical world. One of the biggest traps is to think that you need to wait for it. No, we're gonna decide right now. So pull out a piece of paper and start writing it down. What are the traits that a dream version of me has? Question number 1, write down your answers very honestly. Nobody's gonna look at that, but you have to be really clear. You have to know what you want. Number 2, what is that version of me all about? What does she do? What are her hobbies? Who is she surrounded by? Where does she live? Where does she work? What does she do in her free time? Who are her friends? What is her house like? What is her car like? You write down every single little detail that you can. This will help you really visualize and clarify your identity of what you want to become so that you can start becoming her at this very moment. The third question that I want you to answer is, what are her core values and beliefs? What does this woman believe in? What are her non-negotiables? This is very important. Be very clear and honest about these things because we're going to take these answers and we're going to use them in chapter 2 that is all about habits and all about your standards, because we will create an action plan for you based on your answers in this chapter 1. Once you finish writing this, you will have an introductory blueprint of what your life should look like, of what your actions should look like every single day. And if you have this information written down, if you're clear about it, you can start acting like her and you will become her. Because as I said in the beginning of this video, you don't have to wait years to become her. You can start being her at any moment of time. You just have to lift up your ass and start doing things that you actually want to do. And the process of becoming is always better than process of stagnation, when you just put a pause on your life and you're waiting for things to happen. The thing is, luck doesn't happen by chance. It always happens when you're prepared. Luck always requires preparation. If you keep doing things that bring you closer to your dream life, you have no chance of not becoming that version of you. You will 100% become her, or even better than you've ever imagined, because your effort always counts. It always adds up. Always adds up. And then you will become lucky. You will get opportunities of your dreams. You will get the best people, the best situations, just because you keep acting and living like that version of you. Another mindset shift that I wanted to touch on is that you have to be so delusional about your potential. You have to believe in yourself like you believed in your ex. You believed in your ex that he's going to change. You believed in him so much. Why don't you believe in yourself? What would happen with your life if you actually believed in yourself more? I can tell you that your life would become so much better if you believed in yourself, in your potential, just like you believed in that trash ex of yours. You are not bounded by what your parents told you. You're not bounded by what your friends told you. You're only bound by your mindset, by your limiting beliefs. You have to believe in your potential. There is no limits for you. The only limits are in your head. Even if in the past you were not successful about something, you can change that. You're not bound by your past negative experience. Because if you keep telling yourself that you can do it, if you keep believing in your potential, you will always get what you want. You will always get what you want if you keep believing in your own potential. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on in the first chapter, mindset, is that you have to be okay being misunderstood. You have to be okay being a villain in somebody's story. You have to be okay being a bitch in somebody else's story. You have to be okay with that. Because once you start being selective with who has access into your life, with what can be introduced into your life, people will call you difficult. People will misunderstand you. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. It does not matter, because you're choosing yourself, you're choosing your authentic life. And when you stay true to yourself, it's never selfish. When you change for the better, you say no more than you say yes. Of course, you will be misunderstood by other people. That's a part of this experience that you have to be okay with. Once you get to that point, I don't want you to turn around and be like, oh my God, now everybody doesn't like me. Well, your purpose here is not to be liked. Your purpose here is to live your authentic life. It's to become who you've always wanted to be. It's to create yourself. And if that person is interrupting that journey, then they have no place in your life. You have to be fine saying no, because you choose yourself and you choose the life of your dreams. That's it on the mindset part. We're approaching chapter number 2, which is all about your standards and your daily habits. This is where we go from thinking about her to actually becoming her. We're talking about action steps. You know, I've asked you to be really honest with yourself in the chapter 1, because we're going to use these answers right here. And if you still haven't written it down, I want you to go back to chapter number 1 and answer 3 questions that I've asked. It's very important to be clear on what you want. You cannot change how you look and expect your life to change as well. That will have zero to little effect on your actual life. You have to become clear on your identity first, and then you can move forward. I can bullshit you and tell you, just buy a red lipstick and your life will become so much better. But I will lie to you if I said that that works. Yes, that can boost your mood, but your mood has little to zero effect on your overall life journey. We're working on a much deeper level. We're not just touching the surface level aspect. Because I've done this myself. I used to watch all of these videos thinking that magically in a week I'll glow up and I'll change my life. But the mindset work is what's gonna change your life in the first place. And then you can start changing how you look, and then you can start changing how you look, becoming hotter, becoming more beautiful. But everything always starts with the basics. And I hate to break it to you, we cannot escape from it. So go back to chapter number 1. If you still haven't done your homework, I'm your teacher today. You're in my class, so you have to listen to me. Actually, you don't have to listen to me, but if you're still listening, it is very important to go back to chapter number 1. So talking about standards and habits, there's only 2 things that matter the most. Number 1, consistency. Number 2, accountability. You have to be consistent with your standards that your boundaries, that your habits, and you have to be accountable. You have to be responsible for what you do. You cannot just say, I'm gonna do this, and then just disappear, and all of a sudden, you know what? It doesn't really matter anymore. No, if you decided that you're doing this, then you have to be accountable for your own decisions. If you decided that you're changing your life for the better, if you decided that you are implementing healthy habits for yourself, you have to keep yourself accountable. And if you cannot keep yourself accountable, you have to hire somebody who's gonna check in with you, who's gonna, check your homework. Have you done this? Have you drank enough water? Have you exercised today? You can totally do that. There's a bunch of service providers that do that, but you have to learn how to do this yourself, because you cannot have a mentor for every area of your life. You have to learn how to be accountable for your own decisions. This is how you will actually improve. This is how you will actually create that better version of you. When I talk about accountability, I also mean that if you decided that something does not belong into your life, this is it. You were not negotiating that with anyone. We're not negotiating that with ourselves. Once we decided something, we're sticking to that decision. I'm going to share a very powerful practice with you today, creating a no list for yourself. What is a no list? A no list lists all the things, all the behaviors that you will no longer tolerate, things that you have no capacity for anymore. You don't want to keep doing these things anymore. Let's say you notice that you keep procrastinating, that you keep scrolling your phone, or that you keep entertaining people that are toxic for you. Once you decided that it will no longer belong into your life, once it's written down in your no list, then you have to really stick to those things, because once you decided, then you have to be accountable for your decisions. Bring back your piece of paper, bring back your notebooks, and let's sit down and write down things that you will no longer tolerate, things that you have zero patience for, from other people, from yourself as well. And oftentimes we think, oh, I'm not tolerating this in other people. Well, there's probably behaviors that you have within yourself that you probably shouldn't tolerate anymore as well. This is not just about other people. This is also about your own behaviors and your own standards and your own boundaries. For instance, I'm no longer allowing people to call me after 8 p.m. because I'm taking care of myself. I have my own rituals and they're disturbing my peace. I will not pick up my phone after 8 p.m. No matter who calls me. I'm taking time for myself and I'm focusing on me. This is one of the things that you can put on your no list. You can go back to it. You can erase some things. You can cross it out, or you can add more things, because we are always evolving. We're always changing. And those lists, they can change over time. The same thing about your identity, the same thing about your habits. They can change based on the stage of life you're at, or your goals, or actually, sometimes you have this crazy epiphany and you're like, the things that I wanted before are no longer something that excites me. I've had this moment probably 5 years ago when I realized that where I was moving before in my mindset, in my habits, was not something that I saw myself going anymore. And sometimes you have to really pause and reassess and go through those lists and really specify what you want now. You can add to it, you can remove some things, or you can completely tear those pages apart and write a new story. You can do that anytime you want. You have the ability to start over at any point of time. So this is not really something that is set in stone. This is something that is evolving as you grow, as you get older. It's something that can change over time. You have to be so ruthless about what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate. When you have these high standards for yourself and for the people around you, you will always become better. You will always move faster to your dream life, because you don't have things and people and situations that drag you down, that drain so much energy out of you. You don't have these things anymore. You surround yourself with people and situations that actually help you grow, that help you become that dream version of you. And this is a life-changing experience, because when you realize that there's so many leeches around you, and I'm not just talking about people, but a lot of them are people. Once you eliminate that drain, those leeches, you'll realize that your life will become so much more peaceful, and you can finally focus on becoming what you always wanted to be. You'll realize that, wow, I have so much time, I have so much energy. All of a sudden, even though nothing changed. Well, a lot of things have changed, but you just revoked your access. Having access to you is a privilege that not everybody has to have. Not everybody is allowed to be in your energy field. Not everybody is allowed to have access to you. Eventually, who you're surrounded by will influence who you will become, because their standards, their habits become your habits. They become your standards. Everything and everyone that has access to you will influence and shape you and who you are becoming, who you are creating. Healthy habits are just the basic of creating a dream life for yourself. I know that this is just basics, but a lot of us are not eating well, are not exercising, or even moving a little bit. A lot of us are just sitting on the couch and watching TV and barely walked 500 steps, not having enough sleep, not getting any sunlight, not doing any health checkups. And you're thinking, oh, I'm so sad, I'm just at home, there's nothing going on. Well, it's because you don't have the basics covered. You're depleted of energy because you're not sleeping well. So the basic is always, you have to sleep enough. You always need to have a good night's rest. This is so important because the next day you wake up, you're sluggish. You don't have any energy to be creative, to do something for yourself. You neglect yourself because you just went to bed so late, because you stayed up all night talking to your friends on Snapchat, texting somebody on Instagram, watching other people's reels, living their best life, and all you did was just wasted time. And the next morning you're waking up sluggish and you're thinking, why am I so low on energy? Well, it's because you don't have your basics covered. Sleep well, drink enough water. I have a glass of water right here. I cannot be in any room without a glass of water. You have to be hydrated, especially if you want your skin to look good, if you want to be healthy, if you want your skin to be firm. Anyone and everyone will tell you that you have to drink your water. If you don't like the taste of water, add some lemon to it. I know some people add those fruit drops into their water so that it has some sort of flavor to it. I've never tried them, but I think as long as it's healthy and it doesn't have a lot of unnecessary sugar, then maybe it's a good thing to do. Another basic but super important is to have any type of movement during your day. Walking is really great. Walking is free. You don't need to sign up to gym. Any movement is always better than no movement at all. You have to pick movement that fits your lifestyle, that fits your goals maybe. And I think the least you can do is to start walking. But I know a lot of people talk about 10K, and for some people it's just not attainable because the weather is too cold or it's raining all the time. Like I live in Vancouver and it rains a lot. And honestly, I don't like walking in the rain. So I bought myself a walking pad. So whenever I watch a TV show or a movie in the evening, I step on my walking pad and I keep walking for like 30, 40 minutes. And that's how I get an additional 3 to 4K of steps, just like in 40 minutes. I think that's such a great thing to do because you can really control the speed, and you can do this inside your house. You can do that while working, while watching something, or while just talking to somebody on the phone. I think this is such a great alternative, even though I do love walking in the nature. Sometimes when the weather sucks, there's no other option. So this is a great alternative. I'm not gonna tell you today what exactly you should be doing because I think you know that yourself. And you can write that down. Okay, so what's gonna make me healthier? What's going to make me stronger? What's going to help me get to that version of myself that I really dream about? Something that I cannot wait to wake up to. It's that vision of me that I have for myself that is just perfect. And perfection is not really about perfection per se. Perfection is just something that you strive for. And finally, something that is not as sexy as buying makeup from Sephora, but you should really do annual health checkups. Always do your blood work, always check for your hormone levels, always check for any deficiencies. Finally, we're moving on to chapter number 3, your physical appearance, your physical beauty. A lot of us look for instant changes, and the instant changes are always to do with how you look. Change your haircut, dye your hair, do makeup right, or change the colors. And we think that is going to change our whole life. But don't get me wrong, physical beauty is just as important as your mindset. If we live in the material world and everybody wants to be beautiful, everybody wants to be sexy, and also being beautiful gets you further in life. Being pretty gets you further in life because it gets you more opportunities. You just have a lot more doors open for you. And I think one of the biggest purposes of working on yourself physically is to love how you look and how you feel when you look at yourself, is to love how you look in that dress. It's how you look influences how you feel ultimately. And when you look good, you feel good. I'm not gonna say that there is one cookie cutter thing that you can do to become more beautiful, to become your own dream version of yourself from a physical standpoint. There's a lot of advice. Again, there's so many enhancements you can do. So many things that you can buy, so many things that you can implement into your beauty routine. But ultimately, it's your decisions and your habits that will determine how you look and how you feel every single day. Decision fatigue, when you have too many items to choose from, what you want to wear or what you want to put on your face or what skincare you want to do, is something that ruins your routine. It's something that makes your habits really difficult to maintain. We have to eliminate decision fatigue. We have to come up with our signature things that we do every single day. How does this woman want to show up? What does her wardrobe look like? What are her daily outfits? How does she show up? What are her best colors? What is some sort of theme she's going for? When you answer these questions, you will start removing decision fatigue, and ultimately it will be so much easier and so much faster for you to get ready every single morning, because you will look your best every single day without thinking about it, because you already thought about it. You already came up with your style, you already came up with the makeup look you want to have, you want to see. It makes it so much easier when you have it nailed down, when you have it figured out. You don't have to think about it anymore. You're just showing up as your most beautiful, your hottest self every single day. The best way to determine what works best for your style and for your makeup and for your overall look is to feel instead of calculate. So what do I mean by that? When you put on a dress, how does it make you feel? Instead of focusing on what is generally accepted, I want you to focus on your feelings. I love Marie Kondo method. It talks all about how to organize your space, and whenever you pick up an item, you have to ask yourself, does this spark joy in me? I want you to do the same thing that whatever you try on, that whatever you try with your makeup, whatever nail color you choose, does it make you happy? Does it light up a spark in you? I am the biggest fan of red nails. Whenever I have my nails done, it always makes me happy. If for some reason in the future I get my nails done, I do red polish, I look at them and I don't feel that spark, I'm gonna change the color. Because I will know that that feeling is gone. I want you to do that with every single thing that you choose for yourself. How you feel will determine how you look. It will determine how you present yourself into this world. My pro tip is to learn about your dominant archetypes, your light and dark archetypes. If you don't know what archetypes are, I actually have a masterclass that is 110 minutes long that talks all about feminine archetypes. It talks about the behaviors, the habits, the look that these archetypes can have. My masterclass will give you a lot of insights about how to embody your archetypes and how to integrate the shadow, the dark aspect of you so that you can become more confident, so that you can show up as your dream self into this world. All the information on the masterclass will be available through the link that I'll have below this video. The whole point of this last chapter is to find out what your signature look is. Signature is something that you will be recognized for. You have to be really clear about how you want to show up into this world. It's your personal brand. It's how people remember you. It's something that will leave a very long-lasting impression. Figuring out your dream identity will help you figure out your dream signature look. Because when you take that identity and when you go through the habits, the standards, and now you go through the appearance, how do I want to look like? What is going to be my style? What is going to be my signature scent? What is going to be my signature makeup? You have this whole picture. You have this whole profile of that dream version of you. And that is your blueprint that you can use every single day, and you will 100% make progress, and you will 100% become better for yourself. Not because somebody told you to do it that way, but because you know yourself deeply and you know yourself well enough to act on your desires. Because the woman of your dreams, she already exists within you. She is already there. But we just need a little bit of help. We need a little bit of steps along the journey to actually start feeling like you are one. This journey doesn't really end. There's not a destination that we have to reach, but we have to keep creating ourselves every single day. It's all about this consistent but exciting journey of chasing what excites you and eliminating anything that doesn't serve you. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you again very, very soon.